Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Dreams to Keys Realty. Trying to make sure we have the right image. Hold on one second. That's a lot better. So, welcome to Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. I am Jalon Strong, the Essential Millennial Realtor, here for Dreams to Keys Realty. Welcome if you have never come to our channel before. Welcome. And even if you are returning, welcome back to Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. Make sure that while you're here, you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment if you have any comments or questions. We will reply to them as we see them. So we really hope that you would utilize our services. If you are in need of any realtor services, I am a licensed realtor in Georgia. So you can use my services if you are looking to buy, sell, or rent to own a residential property in Georgia, specifically in the Gwinnett and DeKalb counties. If you would like to speak with me directly so that we can see how to best work together, if we should work together in the purchase of your home or sale of your home, or even in the process of renting to own a residential property, please contact me by scheduling a free consultation from the link in the bio. You can go on to the link in the bio, which is also moving at the bottom of the screen. That link is beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. It will take you to a page that opens several tabs where you can see a lot of things that are useful for the home ownership journey, which include your access to me. So there is one tab that says Let's Talk. That is our consultation tab. Click that tab. It will take you to a way to schedule a time with me for up to 1 hour. We will talk about your specific scenario and how I can best help you in that consultation time. It is free when you schedule it. However, if you decide not to show up, then there is a $15 no-show fee. So at scheduling, it will ask you some information should you not show up, and we will incur that, or we will pull for that $15 no-show fee at that time. So please make sure when you schedule your consultation that you are available at that time to show up so that you do not incur a $15 no-show fee. Next, we'll talk about the discount code. So if you've shown up for any previous lives this month, you have seen that we have a discount code for all of our products for the month of February. The discount code is BHM, which stands for Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to everyone. But if you go to our website, which is dtkrealty.com/shop, which is on the screen, you can use the code BHM at checkout to receive 20% off of all of our products. That includes any product that we have. So the consultations is separate. That's a separate place to do that. And of course, the consultations are free up front unless you do not show up. So there's no need for a % off. But here we're talking about our journals, which we have hardcover and spiral journals. We have t-shirts. We have black lettering on the shirts as well as white lettering. We have baseball style shirts, hoodies, crew necks, and you never know what else we may add to our My Dreams Have Keys collection. So if you're interested in any of those products, we also have ebooks available. Go on there, go to our website. It is the website on the screen, dtkrealty.com/shop. And use the code BHM at checkout for 20% off of all of our products. You have to enter the code. It is not an automatic discount code. You have to enter the code BHM to receive the 20% off of all of our products for this month only. So use it while you still have time. With any other live, we talk about the link in the bio. The link in the bio highlight of the week is Down Payment Connect. This is a new tab that I have recently added to our link in the bio. With this tab, you are able to click that link, of course, and go to a website that will take you to options where you can see what down payment assistance programs may be accessible to you in your area of home ownership. If you are looking to buy a home and you're looking to utilize down payment assistance, or if you think that's just a possibility, maybe you may or may not need it, but you're just trying to see what programs could be accessible for you in your home ownership journey while you're looking to buy a home, then go to that link, click that tab, utilize those different options on there and see that number of programs may change. So for Gwinnett, there may be 13. As you make your search more specific, you may see it drop down to maybe 9, depending on what you're looking for. It has various options for you to choose from, so you can see where you may be able to utilize down payment assistance. Of course, once you get through that stage, they'll ask you to fill out some information that will help us to connect with you. And then also we'll connect you to our preferred lenders who are best suited for what you're looking for. And of course, within the area that you're looking for a home. So please utilize that link if you're interested in down payment assistance, or you just want to know more about what is accessible in the area where you're looking to buy a home. Now let's go to what we're here for, which is the FastStats. This is something that we do monthly, if not quarterly, if not monthly, about our market. So the market that I service currently is the Gwinnett and DeKalb counties of Georgia. So we're going to focus on Gwinnett County for this video, specifically Lawrenceville, which is a city in Gwinnett County. The zip code that we have focused on before is 30043, and that's what we will focus on today as well. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can see that information. Give me 1 second. And now I just want to make sure that everyone can see what I can see. And it looks like everyone can. I'm going to put our FastStats banner down. All right, so we're going to move about this document. And if you've never seen a video where we go through the stats, I will break down what each category means, what each metric means. We will be looking at 2 different types of properties. First, we will look at the residential detached properties, which could include properties like your single family homes. And then we will look at residential attached properties, which could include your townhomes. We are looking at the zip code of 30043. All of this is courtesy of the First Multiple Listing Service and FastStats. We are looking at the month of January 2025 for the city of Lawrenceville, of course, with that zip code of 30043 in Gwinnett County. We're starting with residential detached. We are going to look at the month of January for the years 2024 and this current year, 2025, comparing the numbers and the percent differences. We're also going to compare that data to what we saw in December, looking at the same zip code, same metrics. And then we're going to look at year-to-date data just for what we see on the screen. We'll do that for residential detached and do the same for residential attached. So let's start from the top with the key metric of new listings for January 2024. It was 60. Again, this is residential detached. And for January 2025, it was 59. The difference in the numbers there is 1, with a decrease of 1.7% for new listings. When we looked at December, we were looking at different years, of course. So let's just focus on the year of 2024 for review of December. So for December 2024, for the same zip code for residential detached, for new listings, it was 55. So we're not off too much from either year, 2024 or 2025 thus far, with the new listings number. So let's look at the pending sales. For January 2024, it was 56. For January 2025, it was 40. That showed a decrease of about 29% when we look at January for 2024 to 2025. Now looking at December 2024, it was 49 for the same category. So we see we have more pending sales back in December than we have now looking at the data for January 2025. Closed sales. For January 2024, it was 42. For January 2025, it was 38, which showed a decrease of 9.5% there. For December 2024, in closed sales, it was 65. So there were much more, or there was a higher number of closed sales back in December 2024 compared to both January 2024 and January 2025. So that may mean something about this market. That may say that what this market is showing, and even when we look at December 2023, based on the comparison then, when we looked in December, it was 55. So it may show that as we close out the year in this market, that these sales are higher than when we start off a year. So that's something to note, especially if you're looking to move into this market, that maybe you might be able to get more negotiations done toward the end of the year. And if you're someone that's looking to sell, maybe that could be encouraging to you as well to close out the year in this market versus starting the year in this market with selling your home. So those are just things that you can consider from this data. Now let's look at the days on market until sale. For January 2024, it was 39. For January 2025, it was 44, which showed an increase of about 13%. If you followed me on any other live where we've gone over these metrics, you already know that there is a difference between days on market until sale and days on market. Days on market until sale means that this is the total of the time in days that the property or properties in this case were on the market until they finalized in a closed sale. Sometimes when you see days on market, which may not also mean total days on market or days on market until sale, the term or phrase days on market may just mean the days on market with that brokerage or the days on market with that realtor or real estate broker. So when you see this days on market until sale, it is also sometimes referred to as total days on market, which is the totality of the property or properties being on the market. So keep that in mind when you're ever told the days on market, if that is the total or just relative to who is selling the property. All right. So 39 to 44 showed a almost 13% increase. So we see that that means that the properties are on market for longer this year in January versus in last year in January. In December 2024, the days on market until sale was 40. So we're pretty close, just about the same. The numbers are within 5 days of each other, but they all are over 1 month. So if you are looking in this market in this time frame, you may want to keep in mind that if you're looking to sell a property in this market, it may take somewhere between a month and a half or more, or negligible, not negligible, but sometime give or take a month or a month and a half to sell a property in this market. Median sales price for January 2024 was $410,500. That's the median sales price for January 2024 in this market. For January 2025, it was $430,000. That showed an increase of about 5% when we see the change to January 2025. So the median sales price is increasing. Looking at December 2024, the median sales price for this market was $405,000. So we see that the median sales price, which is the middle point of all the sales prices, is much higher than it was in December in 2024 and January 2024. For January, it looks to be almost $20,000 more in the median sales price. From December 2024, it looks to be about $25,000 more. So when you are looking at not just when a property may close, when we talked about the sales earlier and the days on market, when you consider the pricing, consider that because it may in this market indicate that the homes are likely to not sell as fast at this point in the year, then the prices may be higher. That may be an indication that we can continue to look for as we continue to look at this market data going forward. So we saw a lower median sales price in 2024 in January and December. So as we reach 2025, for January thus far, the median sales price is about $20,000 more. The median, again, is the middle point of all the sales prices. Now let's look at the average sales price. For January 2024, it was $435,496. For January 2025, it was $442,668. That showed an increase of 1.6% moving to January 2025. So that is about not a full $10,000 increase in the average sales price. Now let's look at December 2024. For the average sales price of this market, it was $437,265. That was higher than it was in January 2024. So we see that the average sales price is also increasing. The average, notably, is higher than the median. So the average is the totality of all the sales prices divided by the number of sales prices that there were, which is much different than a median, which is lining up all of the sales prices and finding the middle one. So the average is higher than the median sales price, which is also the trend when we looked back in December at this market. The average sales price was again much higher in difference than it is here, but still the average sales price was higher than the median sales price. Now let's look at the percent of list price received. For January 2024, it was 98.9%. For January 2025, it was 97.6%, which showed a decrease of 1.3% moving toward January 2025. With this number, we look to see the percent as close to 100%, which means that it gives us the theory that the list price is more accurate based on what is going on in the market and for each property. When we looked at December 2024, it was 98.6%. So the most recent number that we have is the January 2025 value of 97.6%, which is the lowest of the three values we've talked about for this category. It's still in the upper 90s, but we'll continue to look at this as we continue to look at this market to just see what the trend is and to see how it changes over time. But all of these numbers are in the upper 90s and closer to 100%. The inventory of homes for sale from January 2024 was 64. For January 2025 was 147, which showed an increase of 129.7% moving toward January 2025. That is about double the inventory that we saw in January of 2024, which is significant there. For December 2024, the number was 153. So that is a little bit higher than what we see now in January 2025, but those numbers are closer, 153 in December 2024 and January 2025 being 147. Needless to say, we have much more inventory available for purchase, and we see that our listings are a bit higher back than what we saw back in 2023 when we looked at the December data. The December new listings for 2023, it showed 31, where in 2024 in December, we saw 55, and in January 2024, we saw 60. And here we are looking at the January 2025 data, which is 59. So we see that we have more new listings looking at that trend back from 2023. And we see that our inventory is higher. So we have much more on the market than we once did, which kind of goes against what you may have heard in some other sources based on what is described about the inventory of the market. So again, I've said this in previous lives, but if you are someone who is looking to purchase a home, you need to talk to someone in your local market to get a feel of what the local market is doing. There are some reports that have said that there's no inventory or there's low inventory. But what we see in this market based on this data is that we have doubled, if not more, in our inventory than we once did in 2024. So we have the inventory or more inventory than we once did. Now let's go to month supplies of inventory. For January 2024, it was 1. For January 2025, it was 2.4, which showed an increase of 140% going toward January 2025. What this data tells us is this is the amount of months that it would take to sell all of the inventory on the market at that time with no other listings being added. So in January 2024, all of that inventory could have sold in 1 month. When we get to January 2025, it would have taken us about 2.5 months to sell all of that inventory. And we can see that the inventory doubled looking at the category or metric inventory of homes for sale. So that makes sense when we look at the month supply of inventory. You have more inventory on the market, it may take you longer to sell all of that inventory. When we were in December 2024, we had a similar number to what we had as far as the inventory of homes for sale to January 2025. So that inventory would have, for this category, month supply of inventory, it was 2.5 months, which is quite comparable to what we see here for January 2025. So we're pretty much on track there where we were in December. So now let's look at year-to-date data, still in the residential detached category. So through January 2024, the new listings were 60. Through January 2025, it was 59. So that makes sense. All of these numbers should be the same because we're in January and we're looking at year-to-date data. So we see that all those numbers are the same. If we were further along in the year, these numbers should be different than they are for each month. So we won't spend much time here because these numbers are identical to what we see in the month-to-month category. All right, so let's move on to residential attached. Again, residential attached are the properties that are connected to one another, such as your townhomes. We're going to compare what you see on the screen for the months of January 2024 and 2025, and then I'll also reference December 2024 when we referred to that in a previous video. And then we'll look at year-to-date data, but as we saw above, the year-to-date data is going to be identical to what we see for this month of January because it's year-to-date and we only have 1 month when we look at the year-to-date data. Now, new listings. For 2024 in January, it was 7. For January 2025, it was 26, which showed a percent increase that's statistically significant at 271.4%. So the numbers still seem small, like 7 to 26, but when you look at the change in the numbers, it's quite significant. So we have many more new listings now than we once did in 2024. For December 2024, it was 19, which is closer to where we are now, but we still have more new listings than we did at that time. For pending sales in January 2024, it was 8. For January 2025, it was 11, with a change of 37.5%. In December, the pending sales were 8. So we're pretty much where we were for January 2024, the same number for the same category and same zip code. So the difference is the same, the 37.5% there. Now, looking at the closed sales. For January 2024, it was 5. For January 2025, it was 7. Not much difference there for those numbers, but it shows a statistical difference of 40%. When we looked at December 2024, it was 14. So we had more closed sales back in December of 2024 than either of these January months. Now, I just want to pause here for a moment and bring to your attention that in this market, residential attached properties have less listings and less sales than we see or have seen for residential detached properties. And that's indicative of what this market is typically looking for or what's available in this market. You can expect in this zip code of 30043 to see more residential detached properties than you typically see residential attached properties. However, we still see more construction of properties, and that may change in the future. But as we have seen in previous reviews of this zip code for these metrics, we typically see much lower numbers for residential attached properties than we do residential detached properties on all three of these categories. Now, for days on market until sale, for January 2024, it was 35. For January 2025, it was 49, which showed a 40% increase as we moved to January 2025. In December 2024, for this category, there were 37 days on market until sale. So December was about midway from the number that we see. We're not even midway, closer to the January 2024 number for days on market until sale. What you can see from all of these numbers is that it takes typically more than 1 month from the time that the property is listed until it is sold. So it could last closer to a month and a half to sell a property, residential attached property in this market. Now looking at the median sales price. For January 2024, it was $351,500. For January 2025, it was $340,000, which showed a decrease of 3.3% moving toward January 2025. For December 2024, the median sales price for this market was $393,432. So the median sales price has decreased a bit, and it can be skewed because the numbers are much lower than we saw for residential detached. So the median is the middle point, and so finding the middle point could have less values to choose from when you have less properties. However, we see more new listings in January 2025 than we've seen in the other months. So when we look at the median sales price for January 2025 and just December 2024, we see that December was much higher, where it was $393,432, which showed a much higher median sales price of about $50,000 compared to what we see in January 2025. So this is encouraging if you're someone who may be wanting to live in this market and you may not have a preference of residential detached or attached, but you want to stay under the sales price of $400,000, then you may find the residential attached category to be more feasible for you financially. So that could be encouraging if that's something that you have a concern of. The median sales price in this market has decreased comparing those months. Average sales price, again, is lining up all of the sales prices and dividing them by the number of sales prices that there were in that time. For January 2024, it was $343,480. For January 2025, it was $347,214, which showed a 1.1% increase moving toward January 2025. Now, for December 2024, the average sales price was $373,833. So that again is a much higher number than we see here in January 2025. And the number is about $30,000 more than what we see for the average sales price in January 2025, which again can be encouraging to you if you are looking to buy a property in this market and you do not have a preference of being detached or attached. Now let's look at the percent of list price received. For January 2024, it's 97.7%. For January 2025, it's 100.5%. And that is a difference of about 3% moving toward January 2025. What we've said is that we like to see this number as close to 100%. And in January 2025, it's slightly over 100% at 100.5% of the list price received. For December 2024, it's 98.2, or it was 98.2%. And all of these numbers are very close to 100, with this January 2025 exceeding 100%, which is encouraging to think in theory that the list price is more accurate. So that's the theory behind this metric. Now let's look at the inventory of homes for sale. For January 2024, it was 9. For January 2025, it was 57, which showed a statistically significant difference of 533.3%. 9 to 57 is a lot of inventory in comparison. Now let's look at December 2024. It was 54. So there it's very close, but we still have more inventory here in January 2025. And let's look at the month supply of inventory. For January 2024, it was 1 month. For January 2025, it's 6.3 months, which shows a statistically significant difference again at 530%. Back in December 2024, it was 6.4 months. So we have enough inventory based on this metric at this time for this market that it would take over 6 months for all of that inventory to sell. Now, again, we don't have large numbers of inventory. It's based on what is prioritized in this market by the buyers. And based on that, it's suggesting that it could take half the year or more to sell all this inventory. So if you are someone who is looking at this market and you're interested in residential detached properties, that could be encouraging to you to know, because that gives you the time necessary in theory to make the choices or have options without feeling the pressure to make a decision as fast as maybe someone who wants to get a residential detached property in this market. That doesn't mean that you take all the time that you can. Time is of the essence, but it does give you some possible leeway in theory that you have more opportunity to maybe search this market and find the property that you feel is best for you. If you are someone who is looking to sell in this market, that number is discouraging potentially, because that means that you need to be in a position financially with this residential attached property to prepare to spend possibly 6 months, let's say 1.5 to 6 months of time with that home on the market. And depending on how fast the market changes and the attraction of your property or buyers to this type of property in this market, you could look at some financial issue if you're also looking to purchase another property at the same time of selling this one. So you have to be pretty strategic in this market if you're looking to sell a residential attached property, because you could be looking at some financial concerns if you're not strategic on how you do it. And once again, when we go to the year-to-date data, it mimics what we see in the month-to-month data. So let's go to our graphs at the bottom. So the first graph is for median sales price of residential detached property. It is on a rolling 12-month calculation. So last year we looked at January 2014. Now we're looking at January 2015. Because this is a rolling 12-month calculation, it's keeping up where we are, and it's keeping that 12-month calculation with the years that we see here. Now, as we see with the median sales price graph, which is the one to the left, the gray line is the all MLS, and the zip code of 30043, which is the zip code we've been reviewing today, is the green line. And what you see for the majority of the time from January 2015 to January 2021 is that these lines are pretty close. And it's not until maybe mid-year of 2021 where you see that they split. And then you see that the zip code of 30043 starts to have a much higher median sales price than that of the all MLS. And when we get to 2023, we see that the zip code 30043 has reached well above the $400,000 median sales price mark, and it went down a little bit, but then it goes even higher as it ends the graph, where it may be somewhere in the middle of the $400,000 mark and the $450,000 mark, somewhere around $425,000 for the median sales price. Now, when we look at the all MLS line, back in 2023 at January, it was, let's say, midpoint between, let's say it's about $375,000 or about, and then it takes a little bit of a curve similar to that of the zip code 30043, ending the year just under the $400,000 median sales price. Well, not ending the year because we're starting at January for this part, but starting the year for 2025, just under the $400,000 mark. And again, this is residential detached. And as we go to the top, we can see what that looked like. So this is the zip code we were referring to. So we were above the $400,000 mark, almost. It's the median sales price. So we were at $430,000 to be exact for January. And the median sales price had not quite reached that when we look at the all MLS data for January 2025. Now let's look at the median sales price for residential attached, same type of review, rolling 12-month calculation for the same years. And we see that the green line is still this zip code of 30043. The gray line is still the all MLS data, which this is the first multiple listing service. Now, when we see from the beginning that the zip code of 30043 is well under the all MLS data, and the median price point sales prices are much different than where we started for the residential detached. They're much lower. So we're starting with the zip code in January 2015 under $150,000, whereas the all MLS data has already surpassed that point. And when we see toward, let's say, the same point that we reviewed at the other graph, when we look at January 2023, we see that there has already been a split just prior to that, where now the zip code of 30043 is now soaring above the all MLS data. And it even closes out this graph where we closed out the data above for January 2025 at the middle point of in between $350,000 median sales price, and it's in between that and the $400,000 median sales price point. But the all MLS data is just about at the $350,000 median sales price when we close out January 2025. And as we saw above, when we looked at the median sales price, it was $340,000, which is where that's where it says we stopped for the median, which is a bit different here. So I would think that when we get to the next graph that we're going to see a bit of a dip when we come back, because the median sales price here is reported as $340,000, but here we see that that number is above that point. So we expect to see this to drop down by the time we get to the next graph. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I hope that that was informational to you and for you if you are someone who is interested in this market of Gwinnett County, in particular the city of Lawrenceville. This was the zip code 30043. If you have any questions or concerns with just reviewing this data, make sure that you put your questions or comments in the comment section. Again, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you are following us on all of our social media platforms. You never know what information we'll post that is interesting to you or someone that you know. As you see below, we are on Facebook, Instagram. Of course, we're here on YouTube. We're also on TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack, where you can find all of our pages from the link in the bio and click those icons to get to our pages. We hope that you'll follow us because all of your engagement, your likes, your subscribes, your follows, your comments even, they help us reach those that are interested in this type of content and that we can engage with our community more and more. And we would love to do that even more. We thank you all for subscribing. We see that our subscriber count has increased, and we thank you all for that. Now, if you don't have any questions, I will end this live, but we will come back for the DeKalb County review as well. So make sure that you come back for that, and we'll see you in the next live. This is Dreams to Keys Realty. I am Jalon Strong, the Essential Millennial Realtor, and Dreams to Keys Realty is where your dreams turn into keys. Have a good one.